What is up, guys? Games of Bacon here, and today we're just going to be looking at Black Desert Online. This is going to be my Kickstarter guide. It's just going to help you get past a few nuisances throughout the beginning, a couple of hints and tips, and get you enjoying the game as quick as possible. First of all, keep your camera effects quite low. They may look kind of cool, but honestly, they make the game feel stuttery, and although you may have 60 FPS, it kind of feels like you're at a lot less. Keeping it smooth and keeping them low, perhaps even completely turned off, makes the game feel a lot better. Go into your settings and tick the box remove others lanterns. You can thank me later, and I promise you it's really going to help. When you first log into Black Desert Online, you'll start in this city here, Olivia. Now you'll find that as you progress through your main character missions, you'll end up around this area here fighting lots of imps. And the problem is that especially on day one release, there's going to be many hundreds of people in the same place farming for the same mobs. So I found out that if you continue your way down this road here and you find the altar of Agrius, and there's a gentleman here called Incus. Now, he can give you some quests. It's kind of dependent on how far you are already through the story, but if he gives you some quests, and what you'll find is that here you have lots of steel imps and grey foxes to the left, and over to the right here there's many more imp soldiers and all the things you'll need for the quest there. So as soon as you've progressed through and out of Olivia, you've killed your foxes and weasels, and as soon as you receive your first quest for imps, you can make your way down to Incus down here, have a chat with him, see if he has any quests, and then you can continue your story missions here. And there should be a lot less people, fingers crossed, unless other people have found this out too. But the minimum it's going to do is it's going to break up the amount of people all in one place. So there should be a lot better for people in both areas. Another thing you can do when you first log in is you can turn all of your quests on. Some of these by default will be switched off. So just click quests all to turn them all on. And that means that you'll be able to accept and see all of the quests that are available. Whilst you're there, you can arrange by distance. This means that you'll be able to do all the quests in one area before moving on to a next. Another very useful thing to know early on is to always be eating. As long as you're always eating, it means you're always gaining your health experience. And when you level up in your health experience, you increase your health points. Obviously very useful for both endgame and whilst you're questing. If your intention is to power level, please don't forget to do the quests from your Black Spirit. They're necessary for leveling up, and they'll give you extra skills, and at level 45 there are prerequisite quests from him that allow you to progress further. All warehouses are separate, so be sure not to stash your stuff away unless you're absolutely sure you'll be going back there quite often. Somewhere like Hideout City is always a good place to start. Another thing to note is that warehouse space is very important. You'll be needing a lot of it, you'll be using a lot of it, especially if you've got workers or you just like to go out and farm and get a lot of juicy loot. So yeah, be sure you get plenty of that. You can use your warehouse to share gear with your alts. None of the gear is level or class bound, so if you've got a main with really high good quality gear and you just started a new alt, be sure to pop it in the warehouse, and when your alt gets there she can put it on and she'll be just a lot more powerful and you'll be able to grind even easier. Collector's items like coins are saleable to trade managers. One like this, an ancient bronze coin. So in order to sell them, you just click on the trade manager, go to trade, and it will be up here in owned items. Now different trade managers will give you different prices, and also depending on what nodes you have, they'll be worth different amounts as well. So you can always bargain, which is a totally different system in place, but for a majority of the time, if you've picked up a couple along your journeys, just find your nearest trade manager and just sell them for some quick cash. The first one you're likely to find will be north of Hydel, and it's just here at the northern entrance, just next to the stable master. Another type of item you can collect are ones that you will find whilst grinding mobs. For example, this old hood I have here. If you read it, it says at the bottom there's an exchange and a price. So exchange 100 for 35,000 silver. Sounds good. 35,000 silver is nothing to scoff at. In order to find where we need to take it, right click the item, NPC location, and it will create a waypoint for you to follow. Or we can have a look on our map and we can see that right now I need to go all the way down here and speak to this guy, Eden. So there's a really, really good way of making some very quick cash, especially if you intend to grind at the very beginning. Once you finish with an area, go to the collectors, hand in the item for the money, and work your way on to the next place. If you happen to be more interested in the world around you or the story and conversations with characters, then the Amity system is probably something you'll be fairly interested in. There's a few prerequisites before you can use it. First of all, the character needs to be able to converse, and that's usually marked by these two faces here in the conversation system. They'll be above the character's portraits and all things like that. And second of all, you need to have enough knowledge in what the person is interested about. So in this case, the Officers of Serendia is their interest, and luckily I know 5 of 13 things about the Officers of Serendia. You can find out new things by conversing with people, talking to officers or the officers themselves, or I can read books about them. I can do all sorts of things in order to learn. Now, once I've done that, you can see that there's a circle here which I can fill up, and that's kind of my Amity level with that person. As I gain more Amity, I can unlock rewards or extra knowledge. And as you can see, at 100 Amity, I get a new quest. At, say, 500, I get some unforgettable dexterity, which is another piece of knowledge, and so on and so forth. So to gain Amity, we have to go through the conversation system. So in this case, I can see that he's interested, and I get a bit of favor, 20 to 27, about 27. If I talk about this person, or he has no interest in Havana Tito for some reason, however, I get extra favor for it. Now, I'm not 100% sure how this works. There's also an interaction effect. There's the sparking interest is like 1%, and you know, it's a bit weird, and there's combo effects and all sorts of stuff. It's very in depth, and I'm sure if you spend some more time with it, you'll learn a lot more than I do. However, if you really like the world around you, I highly suggest kind of diving into this, and you'll receive a lot of rewards for it. You'll receive more knowledge and quests, and there'll be lots of very cool things for you to learn.